Hey guys, welcome back to another video. As you can see by the title, we're doing a how to play KalOnline video this time. So it's going to be a guide on the first part of the game essentially, and it is specifically tailored for Bango as that's a server that I'm awaiting to release and I'm going to play a lot of. However, I suppose it would have some longevity because if you do play a server that is very int-like, as we call it, that's obviously not the global servers, then this video would still be very useful for that if you're a new player, but not many of those running around for a game this old, but you know, just in case. So yeah, essentially that's what I'm covering, the first part of the game. It's a long video, so you can skip through as much as you want. I'm going to cover as much as the early part of the game that is really essential. Inevitably, there are things that will get excluded from this video, either because I forget or because I think that they're not super important early game, or perhaps, you know, just because they do deserve their own video to explain. So after you've registered your account and downloaded the game, you will be able to select one of 4 classes, except actually on Bango's launch, you won't be able to play Thief right away. It's going to be launched later after a few months. So Archer, Mage, and Knight, and then the split job tree. So in total, you have 6 options. If you want to know more about each class and their choices, I recommend watching my What is KalOnline video, because I at least do briefly go over what the classes do. So that gives more detail. The other thing you might need to worry about that is, like, if you want to choose one of the 2 archer classes, you might maybe choose your skills slightly different, and also your attributes might look a little bit different. So we call those builds. So in KalOnline, it's like a traditional MMO where you get attribute points every time you level up. So you get 5 per level. As you get a stat really high, it starts to cost more than 1 point per level. So if you see, I click here, 1. Now let's say I have really high agility. It might cost me 2 points to get 1, if that makes sense. So that's a build. And so that might look a little bit different, but I wouldn't worry because they don't deviate too much until you get maybe closer and closer to 50, and then after 50 that you would see much more deviation in how the builds look between the 2 jobs, so between Expert Archer and Imperial Commander. Like for Knights, you might want a lot more health for the Commander tank class than you would for the Vega, who might want more strength, because that's the big 2-handed sword class. So for this demonstration, we're going to log into an Archer. We're going to call it Archer Test, and hopefully that's not been taken. We're going to invest all the attribute points into agility just for now. Again, for Archer, for example, you want agility, health, and strength. In fact, for all physical attackers, you're going to want agility, health, and strength, just in a different order depending which one you choose. For Mage, intelligence and wisdom are important. Intelligence for the attacker mage, wisdom for the healer mage is typical, but we'll see what builds come out of this server. Health is often also important for every class, just because it just gives you that survivability. You can't always rely on defense or evasion, which Archer is obviously evasion. So we're just going to pick random. Look, it's an old school MMO. You're not going to get the most incredible, you know, appearance selector. So once you hit create, I already have a character on this account for another testing reason over here. But for this video demonstration, I'm going to use this character, which will be obviously your only character when you first log in. By the way, just a quick note, when you do create a character and you want to make another character, it's usually common, because it's free, to just make another account for another character, because you can load up more than 1 game instance at any one time. So keep that in mind. I recommend not making more than 1 character per account. It just makes things awkward. You might as well make a new account. It takes 5 seconds. Yeah, so anyway, so just a quick note on that. So every time you log in, you get like a beginner's guide over here. So you can use it if you want, but we're going to turn it off or hit close, because yeah, whatever. That might turn on. I can't remember if it turns on every time you level up or not, but it might. So just as a quick note, so this is the beginner town. It's called Naruto. Now, there's not much to look at here other than the fact that this is where you begin. You're not going to use it too much, but there are a few reasons it's important. But yeah, for now, you're going to take some quests here, and yeah. So this is the UI. You can move pretty much everything. This is what the old UI looks like, by the way. I like it because it's a bit more blocky on things, so you can like more easily match that up. But you'll see what I mean if you put up the new UI, so I like to match that. So this is your target. So when I click an enemy, and hopefully there's something close enough in range, depending if there's a monster close enough in range, we might be able to get it quickly. This indicates a quest, you know, so pretty obvious stuff here. Let's see. Hopefully there's something. This is outside the border of the city. This is where the first early level mobs are. Now, this is the beta test, but when you open up the real test, you will not have this item here. So I'm just going to delete that because it's just a beta thing. Same as it's not signed. And this is the weapon you get as you start. Okay, there we go. We can click on that. So actually, that would be quite difficult for me to kill. But yeah, so as you can see there, monster HP and my HP, that's how I like it. Some people, you could have it anywhere else. Maybe you like that there or like that. You know, move it however you like. It's just with a click. Oh, and obviously, you probably already noticed that you click to move. Just not WASD, just to be clear. So what I like to do, we'll just run back in quickly. What I like to do is move my UI how I like it. And also you might want to turn the sound down when you log in. I have it muted. So what I'll do now is I'll just turn it on a little bit to level 2. So the BGM is the base game music. So if you don't want any music, which you probably won't, turn that off, although this is pretty nostalgic for me, so I'm going to leave it on. It's just a low drum. And then the effect sound is just you moving and your skills and monster effects and things. So as you see, 5 is way too loud, so I'm going to leave it at 2. Down here is our like sort of chat box, as you can see. So we're going to change that. It's going to port itself back down every time I do it. So eventually, if you click change enough, it'll give you a bigger box and a bigger box here. Still not huge. It's not super customizable because it's an old game. I'm just going to move that's the skill UI here. So just going to move it up here. That's how I like it because I just keep things centered over here. It gives me all this space here to look at. So yeah, so everything else here basically you can turn off. But if you ever want them back, if you press S, it brings up your skill window and you can find them in action. So like if you instead of typing /party, which you can see come up here, and then someone's name like Henry, oops, if I could spell, like /party Henry, you know, you can actually click on someone and target them and then try and party them that way by right clicking. But yeah, we don't have anyone next to us, so I can't show that. Again, this is a beta test server for it. These are bots, by the way, you keep seeing come up. So yeah, there's private shop, but again, that's just with T, but you need to be high level before you can make a private shop. Guild is G, but again, I'm not in a guild, so it's going to tell me I can't do that. Trading, I'm not sure if I can trade yet. Teacher student, I think, is going to be disabled. And if you press F, you have your friends list, and then you can also mail things to your friends, such as items and stuff. So really useful for that. Yeah, so that's pretty much your first instance of things. Now, if you go to your settings, you can also change your graphics settings. So you can see the graphics here. I think it's your basically your FPS is going to be tied to your monitor refresh rate. So if you have a good refresh rate, but you shouldn't really notice too many problems with your FPS anyway. But if you do, yeah. So yeah, this is the settings I have on right now. It's kind of late though, like it's kind of dark, and that's a little depressing. So what you can do is do oops, gotta get rid of /set and then space and then time. And then usually to set it to daytime, I would do anything from 10 to 12. So I'm going to do /time 10, set time 10. That makes it a little bit brighter, not so depressing looking. So you can do that if you like. And this server, a lot of servers have what's called an F1 menu. You press F1, and then a teleport menu comes up and some other menu stuff comes up. That's like custom features. But this server, which again isn't int-like but is useful, is you can teleport doing like Naruto for Naruto, /temp, which is temp fort, that's the main city. Which I don't know why I didn't do that. Oh, it's /fort, I think. Yeah, sorry. Even I didn't know. There you go. /fort. And it'll bring you to the main city where everyone's going to be sat. So that's just useful, and we'll go over basically what each town is relevant for and how to progress your character now, basically. Okay, so let's start with the earliest level quests that are worth doing. Obviously, I'm going to use sped up footage here because your character is pretty slow early on since you won't have any speed. You're going to take these 3 quests here. So there's basically 3 guards that you want quests from. You can take the 4th one if you want, but the 3 that you will visit here. By the way, all these drops you won't get on the live servers because this is a beta test server, so its XP rate and drop rate is massively increased, so you'll spend more time doing activities that you'll see me do here, but but at least it gives you an idea of where to go. Now, the reason you want to do the quests that I've indicated here and kill the specific types of demons out here is because these demons are the ones for the quest that give you the heads, and then once you get the heads of these demons, which shouldn't be too hard to get even without the boosted drop rate, shouldn't take too long at all. Obviously, they're early level quests. But once you do get the heads of these demons, it's just a case of returning. You can use the fort teleport, or sorry, Naru teleport there. So you're going to turn in this quest, then you're going to get most of the grade 8 armor. So your first set of armor, grade 8, it's the lowest grade armor in the game, but it's better than wearing nothing. And then the actual armor chest piece is from this guy here, so you can equip that, then you're full. And then this guy gives you your first upgrade of a weapon from the initial weapon you get, which stat-wise is really good. And then I'm going to show you quickly just where you're going to go to your class trainer over here. So the first class trainer is up here on these dock areas here. So yeah, for Archer, I'm going to want Staggering Blow, Fatal Blow, if it's available as a passive, and then later Concentration. But obviously, your class will be your class. If you want to know about class skills, I highly recommend that you ask, because it's not advisable. It's not like permanent, but it's not easy to reset. So after we level a little bit, get some more skills, we're going to go to cargo station. So that's /cargo there. And by the way, you'll see me investing in attribute points as we go. So every time you level, you get 5, like I said, explained at the beginning. So I'm just going to keep investing. These on the screen here are quests that you want later for job change. You can get these items without... you can get those without having the quest. So they're basically just like the heads of the monsters, which nothing to do with beheading, by the way. Beheading's just great for... this is the little skill I keep activating. It gives you mana and HP back, if you're wondering what the hell's going on. I'm dropping gear off the mobs, by the way. KalOnline functions that way, where you improve your gear by killing monsters for the most part. You can buy gear from other players. Early game gear can be bought from players. Next up, we're going to go to mine after we've leveled up a little bit more, as you can see here. One thing I would say is that during your playthrough here, you're going to notice I'm sat down to get mana here because I was too lazy and I was using the Z button to run. If you sit down, you get mana back. That's pressing X. But you're going to probably want to buy a little bit of water just to help you. If you're playing Thief, you could probably get around with auto-attacking. Maybe Knight a little bit too. But Archer Mage is probably going to want some water just to help them get mana back for their skills. So then, as you can see, I've shown you where to go. So now we can see, I think we're dropping grade 16 level gear now, which would be huge if we could get some Archer versions of that. Now, do you remember those heads I told you about earlier? They're really important because you can have them in your inventory ready to turn in. You don't have to get the quest, then get the heads. So one of the mobs here is the Blue Warrior. This is where you find these guys. You can also get them from the Red Warriors. Hang on to those heads, basically. You can go back to earlier, pause it, and get it. So next we're going to go to Naruto and get a quest from that guy. As you can see, pause whenever you need to and go back, by the way. I'm commentating this as I'm watching it sped up. So yeah, then you're going to get a super easy item to get called Keg of Talisman. Go back to Naruto. So Naruto, cargo, back to Naruto, talk to this guy again, and he gives you any choice of an animal you want. There'll be 3 choices initially. When Thief released, there'll be 4. I'm an Archer, so 99% of Archer builds would go Panther. Some will go Tiger, but we're going to go Panther. And so just going to show you a little bit of NPC stuff you can do. So I'm going to buy a bow because I've been unlucky. So I'm going to sell some gear and some stuff that I've gotten. Bought a bow and yeah, oh, I didn't buy a bow apparently. Did I not see buy a bow? I thought I bought a bow. Maybe I'd go back and buy a bow after I confirmed I had enough money. I think that was what I did here. Yeah, so I also bought a few small meds, which is super helpful, keeping you sustained out and grinding. This food merchant sells food, which recovers your HP if you sit down, but also mana. Now I bought the bow. Weapons are a very big improvement. I mean, all gear is improvement. KalOnline dropping gear is just something you want to do. It gets harder and harder as you go, obviously, and I'm on boosted drop rates, so I will drop more stuff in this video than would be normal. This time we're going the other side of mine to the closer side to the teleport. Actually, when you type /mine, this is the closer side. So yeah, as you can see, killing a bunch of mobs. Now I drop an interesting item called Sea Bream of Blood, which gives me an opportunity to show you what you can do with that. So with Sea Bream of Blood, you can spend a little bit of money and find a chemist to speed up. I know where this one is, so this is why we're here. Then you want to use a cooking option here with this guy with Sea Bream of Blood plus money, and you get a call of speed up. Which I'm not showing here because I've sped up the footage, but it does move your character a lot faster than the standard walking, which is painfully slow. Again, you're watching me get skills invested. Now, one thing I'm not including in this video is skill point quests and contribution quests. There are quests that give you more skill points than just you leveling up, where you get 1 per level. But I prefer to do that later, purely because with most classes except maybe Mage, and even then, you can kind of get away with just using level up skill points, and I'm worrying about once levels start to slow down a lot, then, you know, maybe you want to go back then. But for a while, you really don't need to concern yourself overly with having to go and do these skill point quests, but you will want to do them. And I'll probably make a video about them separately. I just wanted to include the things that you should do, basically. And the main part of that is how to level, get gear maybe, get potions, and then job change and stuff. So that's what we're focused on here is your early game progression. So you can see now I'm going to use another trick. Go into a place called Pub of the Giant Bird. Go out the wrong exit here and you're going to get owned. Go out the exit I show you here, sped up of course. So this is the same area I was just in, although a little further ahead. And I get lucky here. I get a grade 24 chest. Huge upgrade here. So it's kind of exciting. You know, you're out grinding and getting this gear is exciting. And hopefully you'll have friends. Certainly my stream community will have on my Discord will have people. But even in game, if you make friends in game, whatever, you might be able to trade. You know, they got a piece of gear for your class. As you can see in my inventory, maybe I've got couple pieces of gear that I don't need. Anyway, so as you can see, this guy slaps. This is the Demon Commander. Now, he's interesting for a few reasons. If you paid attention earlier, one of his heads is something you'll need later for the first job change quest. So if you can get it now, it just saves you a little bit of time. The other reason he's good is because he does have a good drop rate on higher level gear, grade 33, some grade 29 stuff, really good. But he drops grade 32 armor, but not just any grade 32 armor. He can drop what's called +6 armor. So it's never done again. It's a weird thing where basically you get this armor here I'm about to buy from the NPC because, you know, it improves my evasion and everything and my defenses. So this gear here, there's a special version of it for every class with +6 stats. And for every class, it's +6 hit points. So that's 30 HP attribute points you can get from a full set. It's hard to get, but it's crazy. But what's crazier is that actually it's kind of somewhat a best in slot build for healer mages because they don't get HP. They get +6 wisdom. So 30 wisdom attribute points from this gear is huge. And in an ideal scenario, they're not getting hit. By the way, this is just showing the player shops are a thing. You can buy gear from players in a shop way. You don't have to trade them or send them a message, what's called FL. This is showing you where I progress next. So that was Fort, and then there's a NPC there. You can watch the footage back if you like. Slow it down on YouTube. I cropped to grade 32 thief chest there. So we're going to kill some of these ghosties to level up a little bit more. This is when I'm in, you know, my higher 20s. Now, there is another area you could go if you were maybe feeling confident. I don't have a good enough bow, in my opinion, at this point that I want to push other areas. Early game like this is kind of a balance. Like, later it becomes kill whatever the minimum level purple mob is because purple mobs give the most XP. Red gives second most. But early game, I would say try to kill red and orange mobs to just be a bit more comfortable, and your kill speed will be maintained quite well at that point. Unless you have really good gear, then go for the purples. Later on, it's going to be purple, no question. So you can see here I'm just killing a few mobs, getting leveled up. I think I got Thief Shoes grade 32 and a Mage G32 chest. Unfortunately not +6 because only the Demon Commanders can drop that. It's a super unique thing. So anyway, now I'm going to show you the other area you can go. And I have a grade 29 bow, I think there. Is it grade 29? Probably grade 29. So I'm just going to show you. First off, I'm going to get some more water. Water is really important. I'm also going to buy some medium potions. Some of this might not be possible. Again, I don't know. although you will get less drops, you will be slower to progress, so you might still actually be able to save the money to be able to buy potions and waters. Yeah, but stick with small potions for as long as you can. But if you are going to come out to this forest here, this is the Forsaken Forest. It's like a spooky forest. This forest is a huge, like, upgrade in speed and progression, because these mobs drop grade 42 gear and grade 40 weapons. So, yeah. Now, if you're an archer like I'm playing here, you want to kill Pains, because Pain masks drop archer gear. The Desire masks that we skipped initially, they drop mage, and then I think Greeds here drop knight gear. Some of them might drop every single piece, but these ones are specific. And where we're going to go later, it's randomly changed for no reason at all in terms of what specific type of class gear each type of mask drops, because there's power-up versions of these in a dungeon. Anyway, you can see here, like, takes a couple hits, but, you know, we're getting through them okay. Preferably, I'd like to have at least a grade 37 bow here. And you might have that by going to the Devil Castle later, where I'll show you where that is. It's near those ghosts I was just killing recently. You can behead these masks, by the way, as you can see. I don't know why, because they're just floating masks, so you're not separating anything from a neck. Here, I bought a grade 40 weapon from an NPC, so you can do that. It's very expensive, though, so you probably wouldn't do that on a live server unless you were super rich. But it is a huge DPS boost over what I was using. Because I've been leveling up quite quickly because of the XP boost, I also bought grade 46 gloves at level 35 from an NPC. Not an NPC, sorry, a bot. Those shops you see are bots that are testing the server. And they're dropping gear that they then sell. So, you know, here, you know, quite convenient for me in this testing run. But you can see I'm much cleaner, much faster with killing these mobs now. So you kind of are looking towards getting grade 42 armor while in the Forsaken Forest. Again, you're going to kill way more mobs. You're going to level up much slower, so you're going to be in this forest for much longer than I'll show you here. And I'm just going to show you again, if you progress past these mobs and they start to get red, because at this point you're probably looking to farm purple mobs by now. So you want to find the earliest level purples. So at this point, I'm just going to show you that. So much deeper in the forest here, you can find more advanced masks. I'm just killing this one because it's in my way. I think the next set of archer-related mobs are Hatreds. I think they drop archer gear, if I remember correctly. I think they might already be red, which is unfortunate. But if you're looking for gear, you know, you could suck it up, I guess, and just get red XP rather than purple. It's still going to be pretty fast at this level. And here you can see an example. So I kill this mob and it's this one. I kill this mob and I get G42 Archer Boots, which is a huge upgrade over my grade 32 Archer Boots. So you can see here they are. I think there's also a chance to get upgraded versions. They have like +2 agility already attached to them, which is kind of cool. So yeah, now what I'm going to do is, because I was level 30, I'm going to do the job change quest I've been talking about. So it starts off here in Naruto, the beginner village. So that's /Naro, N-A-R-O. But I put up the teleport screen earlier. This part you could actually do at the beginning if you'd like to. I just didn't feel like clicking a bunch of times on that guy, I guess. I don't know. So yeah. Also, it helps if you can get speed-up medicines, but they might be difficult to get. You have to get quite lucky with Seabream drops. Easy thing. You get that item from the NPC, or from the little demon. Turn it back into that guy. You go talk to this guy. There's a lot of these boring cutscenes. If you're a BDO player, it's just R spam, but instead your left mouse button spamming. Then you're going to kill these demon expert archers. So this is another thing where I told you you can collect 30 of these early on in your playthrough and hold on to them, and you don't have to do it later, which is really nice because that's not super exciting. At least we can teleport between cities. Imagine if you had to run. So yeah, there you go. So that's that part turned in. So we're going to go back to this guy in Pill over here at this point. And this is, I think, where you need the one big-handed head. So again, refer back to the image where I show you all the items worth hanging on to. You're going to kill those mobs, so hang on to one of those items. You just need the one. So you turn it in. Aha, he's like, okay, great. Then we're going back to the guy on the dock. any of this, just slow down. If you get confused, it's pretty self-explanatory. When you press Q and you bring up your quest log, it just tells you what to get anyway. So, yeah. So now we need the Demon Carcass Scavenger. I'm pretty sure it's faster from Cargo than from Mine to reach the first Demon Carcass Scavengers. But I'll show you what they look like. They're just blue demons. We'll find one in a second. So here's one. Obviously, we're on boosted drop rate. We're never going to fail to get that first time. So we're going to turn that in. All good. And then we're going to go Mine, because we need to get 40 big warrior heads. So this is, again, I think if you remember earlier, I told you about these mobs. So you might recognize them if you've been watching this far. You're going to kill these mobs. You can also kill the red ones, though. So I'm going to show you that in a second. So there's blue and red ones. Either of them. Keep going in that direction. You'll find more and more, by the way, which you'll need to do on a live server with a slower drop rate. So then you can just turn that into this guy. He's like, oh my god, you're the bee's knees, but actually I need you to go do this. So our next step is going to be talking to a guy that's like on this massive staircase area. So I'm just going to show you that quickly. You're going to bounce up and down the staircase as you move. It's kind of weird. So you're going to talk to this guy. He's like, okay, you're kind of cool. By the way, you'll notice I use a lot of like skip tricks. So yeah, use your teleport. Don't run. Use the teleports to go back. If you remember where the save point of the teleport is, oftentimes you can save yourself a lot of time. So now we're looking for those demon commanders. If you got ahead earlier and kept it, because it should drop without the quest, you're already good to go. But there you go. I'm just going to kill a couple extra ones because I just wanted to see if I could get some grade 32 plus 6 that I was talking about earlier. But no luck, just a couple weapons. You're probably not going to see those weapons nearly that frequently, obviously, because I'm on a boosted beta drop rate. So yeah, so you're just going to go up here. I'll slow this part down so you can kind of see. And that's it. First job change. There's no choices at this point. Every class progresses to the first job the same. It's only at the second job, which is at level 50, that you actually make a difference. Now what I'm going to show you is a follow-up quest you can do immediately after. Now, this quest rewards you with a very cool class trinket. So you have 3 accessories: your trinket, your belt, and your necklace. No, sorry, your ring. So you actually improve those stat-wise, but the class trinkets are really good. So the first quest, basically, after you talk to some people that you can see on the video, slow it down again if you need it, is to kill some ghosts. So we're going to use that same teleport that we used earlier with the ghosts. And then we get these sealed spirits. This is going to be kind of ass on live servers, and you can't preempt this quest. These only drop once you do have the quest. So annoying, but it is what it is. You need 100 of them. I can't remember if they drop one at a time, but at least at this point, you should farm these mobs pretty quickly because of power creep on your gear and your skills and your level. So at least that's something. You go back to this guy in here. You turn that in. And I think this is where I got lost because I haven't done this in a long time. Where I knew I had to find all the NPCs, and I totally skipped past one. If I remember, yeah. So I accidentally skipped past one, and I do find it, but you basically, they're like in a triangle. So I'm gonna run in a big loop here. So this is not what you want to do at this point. This is me being old and not remembering where to go. So eventually I do check the right area again, but the end point is where you want to be. I figure I might as well check the skills while I'm there. You can now talk to the second NPC, by the way, like for Archer Bowmaster. So there you go. That's the last guy I needed. Right next to the quest giver, of course, me being dented. Anyway, they give you a follow-up quest. Now, the follow-up quest is the final quest, which is where you need all the devil heads. Now, again, I did put in my list of heads that you can get these ones early. Unfortunately, they're incredibly difficult to get. Part of the reason for that is because these mobs, and they're not boosted on the beta, the reason for that is that they're never affected by drop rate bonuses because these heads can double up as repeatable quests, which you can buy and turn in for XP. So in order to control that, they have an absolutely horrific drop rate. So you can follow this path to find the initial ones. I think if you go far left, there's more, but most people are going to go through that little doorway you see in the top left, which you'll see shortly, and then try and farm. But just be warned, if you do this now or if you do it before, like when you're leveling in the 20s, maybe, I don't know, because obviously when things are slower, you progressively slower, spend more time in different areas. But some of these mobs hit a really hard, specifically the first and second devil monster. They are so scary. By the way, it's quite obvious what they drop. Like the devil soldier with swords drops swords. You know, I think spear drops everything. Bow drops bow. I don't remember what drops mage. There you go. I got a grade 37 enhanced sword. Oh no, was it grade 37 or grade 33? I can't see. Anyway, if you get an item like that without grinding, especially if you're with the homies and one of them who needs it, you are super happy. Anyway, so eventually I did get the last head that I needed. I'm skipping through that because it's way too boring to watch my very hard grind through there. So that's going to be definitely something that's going to be difficult. I recommend doing it with some friends because at least then you have more staying power in the area. If you see my inventory, I have a couple grade 40 weapons and also grade 42 gear. So that's the first time you can actually drop grade 42 before you get to those masks in the forest, which is a fun fact, I guess, if you're lucky. So yeah, that's it. You turn that in and some dialogue and you'll have your class trinket. Now, this trinket is good because it's already got stats without you ever putting what's called a Talisman of Wonder on it, which go up to +5 attribute points. And the ring and the belt, which you can get while out grinding. So hold on to those if you do get them. But the ring and the belt, they have no stats until you put a Talisman of Wonder on them. But this class trinket does have stats, so pretty useful. So yeah, so you look at it there. Fun fact, you can trade these trinkets. So if I wanted a night one, because I prefer the night stats, I can do that. So here we're back out grinding again, and I dropped a grade 40 bow that is different from the grade 40 bow I bought from the NPC, because there's 3 types. This one is the damage bow with the lowest accuracy, but I thought, you know what, it's unique, I'll use it. And here I'm buying some archer boots, again, just showing you, because I'm level 37. So grade 46 gear is what comes after grade 42. And that is the first set of gear you actually need to be a certain level to wear. So it goes gloves, level 35, boots. Oh, by the way, just quickly, this is where you enter Dungeon 1, which is going to be where you're going to spend a lot of time, up to 50. And just to show you, you can find this from the forest, but, you know, if there's a teleporter there, why not use it? But this is the forest, and this is where I was, and then in here is the dungeon. But yeah, so it's 37, 39, 41, 43, basically, for the full set. The last piece is the chest at 43. Also, level 40, you get to wear grade 45 weapons, and level 45, you get to wear grade 48 weapons. So yeah, that goes on, by the way. In front of you, as you enter here, is what's called Room 0. So this little weird room with these monster face Dogobis and the Desire masks, where you can see all these bots are playing. That's going to be somewhere for sure people are going to play. Now, for archers, you might want to enter to Room 6 because the, I believe the greeds in this case, even though the greeds in the Forsaken Forest were night gear, the greeds here are archer gear. And I also think the desires might be for every class, so you still have a chance to get your class if you kill them. But it was busy with bots, so I went to Room 9 instead. Now, Room 9 is kind of cool because it has this spot here, which I failed. But if you can get up here just like that, this is a safe spot. So you can't be killed by monsters there. And what I'm showing you here is something you would probably for sure do if you were ahead of the curve on leveling. But even if you weren't, you might still want to do this, which is where you lure the Dogobis out. The Dogobis are faster, so it's a little easier to do it, but also that makes them scarier. They do more damage, and they barely give more XP despite being way tankier than these masks. Plus, you can't behead them. So what oftentimes you'll try to do is lure them out, because they'll just stay there. Eventually, they'll wander around, and they might find their way back out. And I didn't take them very deep. If you look at the map on the top left, you can see how much that winds around. It gets riskier and riskier as you go through, because there are mobs down there. So yeah, this is just showing my character level 45. I managed to drop quite a few pieces of gear, and I bought an archer helmet. So you can see the difference between the stats of the grade 46 and the grade 32, especially when you consider there's grade 42 that would be normally in between these pieces of gear. So grade 46 you cannot buy from NPCs. You have to drop that in the world or buy from players that have dropped it. And you can see how much more powerful my character is now compared to when I was running around the mixed gear. And then I went in on my first kill with a boosted drop rate. I dropped 2 bows. So it lets me show you the bow differences. So we got, this is a grade 48, what we call as players yellow bow. The other 2 are actually called blue and red. This one doesn't have a name like that, but we call it the yellow bow. This is the middle statted bow, so it has the medium amount of accuracy and damage. The blue bow that I have here is the bow focused on pure damage and has the least amount of accuracy. So, you know, you might just be grateful to have one in general, but if you did have a choice, you know, maybe you prefer one way or the other. This is a pattern that continues, by the way, until grade 62 when there's just one bow again. But up to grade 59, there's a choice. Although then there's another whole system that we'll get into in another video maybe. Anyway, so that's it. Thanks for watching my video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that it was helpful. Even if you used only parts of it, that's perfectly fine. Maybe you just watched it and you're a veteran KalOnline player and just like, this is something to watch. Either way, appreciate you. I'm going to try to get some more video content out there. Again, if you want, you can join my stream Discord to ask questions. I've set up a Bango Cal section, but obviously you can also join the server Discord because I recommend playing the server when it's launched, probably around October, but keep an eye on it in the Discord. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.